I basically had this kind of vague idea of explaining it's not a personality disorder, I don't think, my particular brand of personality quirk to you guys and just see if I am the only one or if anyone else is like this. Hi gorgeous people! Today we're going to be doing some knitting, and we know we're going to be doing some knitting, not just because I just told you, but also because I'm wearing the appropriate jewellery. We have this necklace, and we have these cute little earrings, and a mushroom, which is also cute. So, yes, today we're knitting that frog that's all over Instagram, or it's all over my Instagram at least, but I did follow like multiple people who have made that frog, so that's probably why. But you may have seen, excuse my chair, you may have seen on Instagram or TikTok that gorgeous video with the knitted frogs and the married life music theme from Up, you know, the little do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Well, I found the pattern. I will post the link to the person's Etsy below. It's by Pebbles Knits, Dots Pebble Knit, Dots Pebbles Knits. One of those will be right. We're making that frog. I think we're starting with its butt. I think that's what this is. I'm just using DK yarn and a 3.5mm circular needle. It's not very exact because it's a toy. It doesn't need to be fitted. That's why I make toys and not clothing. So I thought I would turn this knitting into a bit of a chat and craft because I haven't done one of those in a while. I think I did one where I talked about perfectionism and crocheted some shark socks, which I then never showed you. One person commented and was like, oh man, I wish I could see the shark socks. And I was like, damn, that would have been a really good idea to take a photo. But I didn't, so I will contact the person who I gave them to and hope that her dog hasn't eaten them and that she can take a photo. And if so, I will put it over my face right now. And if I couldn't find it and you're just seeing my face at the moment, I guess her little dog, Pepsi, has eaten the sharks to death. But I'm sure he got a lot of joy out of it, so it's fine. What are we doing? That wasn't what I was supposed to do. This is the problem with me knitting and talking. The first stitch I've messed up. But you will see this frog once I'm done. I'm probably not going to finish it, you know, in the half hour or so that I'm going to be chatting. But I have plans for this frog for a future video, so you will see her. And like, oh, that video, if you haven't seen it already, just go watch it. It's just adorable. It's so wholesome. The little frogs are just so gorgeous, and the music just fits so perfectly. Like that music from Up, the boo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, Married Life. Oh, I don't know if there's a better example of music that is so simple but so darn effective. Like it's a really simple tune. It's like 3 or 4 different notes with obviously various repeating ones, but depending on like what instrument's playing it, whether it's like the happy little trumpet, muted trumpet at the beginning, or if it's like the really delicate, soft, heartbreaking piano at the end, depending on the instrumentation or like the harmony behind it or everything, just that really simple few notes, organised in the way they are, can take on like so many different emotions from a life that feel at once familiar and also like something that you want to feel even when you haven't lived a whole life, you know? Like the fact that that can come from someone's mind just blows mine. I mean, I could do a whole video purely on a musical analysis of that piece of music, to be honest. I won't, but I could. I'd get my flute out and everything. Where is my flute? Is that here or is that at home? Well, I finished the first row, so let's have a break. Let's find my flute. So this is Flutie. This is Neville, Flutie's guard dragon. He came from Wales, that's why he's got the Welsh flag on him. And this is a cute little flute keyring that I believe was a present from my horrible ex's lovely family. It could be from my not horrible ex's lovely family. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Shouldn't be mixing exes up like that, should you really? Oh, face? Can we focus on my face, please? Hello, thank you. I don't know why I'm doing this. I said I wouldn't do the musical video. I haven't played this in literal years. I just want to see if I can still... That's it. Yay! We can still play the flute. Nice. Well, I used to always get this like black mark just under my lip when I played, so... Oh, it's fine. I'm just so sweaty, it wipes right off. Hot. Right. What were we doing? What was the point of this video? Knitting. That was it. Making frogs. The reason we're knitting today, on this very warm day that I wouldn't normally be knitting, is that I need to get myself out of an obsession loop. And you'll know what I mean when I explain it. I hope you know what I mean when I explain it, and it's not just me. Basically, I have a bit of an obsessive personality. I will find something I'm interested in and hyperfixate on it for a period of time. Speaking of Pixar, from the music from Up, if you've seen the film Soul, there's a bit where they're in the great beyond and they're traveling with people who are all in the zone, meaning they've found something that they're super passionate about and they've descended into this zen-like quality. For Joe, the main character, it's playing piano. For some people it's meditation, or for Graham Norton's character, it's the sign spinning. They see all of these creatures that are wandering around and they're incoherent, and he says, oh well, the being in the zone is an enjoyable place, but when that enjoyment turns to an obsession, you lose your connection with reality and you become a lost soul. And oh my god, when I first saw that and heard him say that, that just oh, that hit me right there. It was literally like Boromir at the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, just when he makes that really awful, painful, horrible, but also kind of slightly hot noise. Oh my god, if you haven't watched Interlude of Tennis, watch it now. You'll thank me later. Anyway, lost souls, right? Getting into the zone with something to the point that it becomes an obsession and you lose yourself and you lose your connection with reality. Oh my god, I related to that so hard. It's 6. What? Oh, fair enough. Yeah, when I find something new that I'm interested in, it could be a craft, it could be a person that I really fancy, or just admire. It could be a TV show is the typical sort of one that I think a lot of people will relate to because of how binge-worthy things are. I will just go absolutely bananas for it. For a period of 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, I will just consume every single bit of media I can surrounding that thing, to the point that I neglect chores, I neglect my personal relationships. I will just spend all of my free time doing this thing. And this is not a healthy way to be. I'm fully aware of that, which is why sometimes I need to lend myself a little life rope just to pull myself back into some semblance of reality. And knitting is a good tool for that. This is one of the few things I have that actually lasted the test of time. I don't know if I've spoken about this before. I feel like I might have done in my last chat and craft, actually, when I was talking about perfectionism. So if I have, I apologise. But I'm going to talk about it again because it was a while ago and Granny's got a short memory. So I will get super obsessed with this thing. I'll watch it all the time. If it's a person, I'll find out whether they've done podcasts and TV shows and just every interview they've ever done, whatever. I'll watch all of that in all of the free time that I have and then get super burnt out. Less so with the people. With the people, it's the crush just sort of diminishes into a nice soft flame rather than just raging inferno. But if it's a craft or a hobby, I will just get super burnt out on it and be really tired and just find myself at the end of the few weeks being I can't do it anymore. Having some kind of crisis. And there is normally a crisis involved because often when I have these kind of obsessive episodes, I will, in my mind, reframe my entire life to fit around that thing. When it's crafts and hobbies, I'll be cool, how can I monetize it? How can I turn it into a business? How can I make this my life's project? Totally kill it dead before I've even been able to get into it. Nowadays, I'm sometimes more sensible. I mean, earlier this year I did this literal exact same thing with polymer clay, but sometimes I'm sensible now and I can identify when I'm getting super obsessive and be okay, this may fade within a few weeks, so let's just hold off on changing our entire life plans and just see how this goes. Because if I can hold off long enough and I know that it's been maybe a few months where I've still been interested in this thing, then I can be okay, I think this is an actual new interest or an actual new hobby rather than just one of my obsessions. So if it lasts the test of time, we good. We're happy. We can partake in it in healthy occasional doses. And knitting and crochet are two of the things that have stood the test of time, and so can pull me out of that like obsessive loop, because this is something I've been doing for like, well, crochet a little bit less, but knitting I've been doing for over 16 years. I learned to knit on holiday, actually. I went to this amazing holiday. My dad had just done some work in America and they paid him all in dollars in an American bank account, and I think he and my mum were sick of having Christmases that didn't snow, so we were like, great, let's go have a white Christmas somewhere, and we went to Vermont. Well, we went to Boston and then we went to Vermont. I never actually saw any of Boston because I was incredibly ill and just stayed in the hotel the entire time, but I couldn't reach the remote, so I ended up watching the film Shark Tale about 3 times in a row while my parents and sister were out and the hotel staff were keeping an eye on me. But anyway, we went to Vermont over Christmas and New Year, and I think it's like my favourite holiday that I've ever had. We actually went there to ski. I don't remember any of the skiing. I just remember all of these little moments throughout the holiday. Like, there was a heated pool outside. So this was like the middle of winter in Vermont. It was pretty cold as far as British standards go. It was so cold outside compared to how hot the pool was. There was a ton of steam rising from it, and like, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was really cool. And there was this American girl in the changing rooms who heard me and my sister talking to each other and was like, "Are you guys from England?" And we were like, "Yes." I was about 7 or 8 and my sister was 4 years older than me, so like 12, 13. She was like, "Oh my gosh, your accents are so pretty." We were like, "Oh." The whole rest of the trip we were like, "Oh, we're just gonna display our accents, try and get more compliments." It didn't work. Oh my god. And there was this place called the Malt Shop. So it was in Stowe. If any of you have been to Stowe in Vermont over 16 years ago, there was this place called the Malt Shop, and I swear to god, the chips there, so fries, the fries there were the best damn fries I have ever had and probably will ever have in my life, because now they're like triple deep fried in nostalgia as well as just being good fries. So good. My sister and I first watched SpongeBob there. That's how we discovered SpongeBob, on the TV in our hotel room. And also these weird like PSA adverts that were like, the dangers of pie and hidden sugar. They were really weird, but really funny. And me and my sister still quote them. Do you guys have any like times in your life like that where you don't remember the whole thing and you might not even remember like the main thing about that memory? So like the main reason you were there, the main event that you were attending, but you remember just all of these little moments from it so clearly. There was this other moment where, so it was New Year's Eve, we were out to dinner in the hotel restaurant, and this entertainer was like coming around talking to guests, doing a bit of comedy, stuff like that, and he came up to us and obviously noticed that we were English and said, "Oh, so like when is it New Year for you?" And we were like, "Well, actually in about 5 minutes." And he quietened down the whole restaurant. He said to everyone, "Oh, can we wish a happy New Year to our English guests here? It's New Year in England right now." And everyone in the restaurant wished us a happy New Year, and it was incredible. Like, as a kid, to have all these strangers just wishing you a lovely start to the year, like, that was amazing. That may have been the year my parents split up. So I don't know if it was a Happy New Year. No, maybe it wasn't. No, I don't think it was. I think that was the one after that. Knit 13. Are there 13 left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can count. Haha. Yeah, so do you have anything like that you think back and you just have these few moments from it that you remember so clearly and it just fills you with just any kind of emotion? For me, that fills me with joy, like all of those memories. And I feel like if I went back there, like to the exact same place, even if like the malt shop is still there and everything was just the same, it probably wouldn't be as good, you know, because as I said before, it's sort of drenched in nostalgia, but it does make me want to go back. It definitely makes me want to go back to America. I want to go to California. I want to go to California and on the way to California, sing California by Joni Mitchell. That's the dream. And yeah, one of these memories that I have from that holiday was my mum and dad bought me for Christmas a little book and kit for starting to learn knitting. As I said, I was like 7 or 8-ish. I don't exactly remember what year it was, but my parents split up when I was 10 and it was definitely before that, so at least 16 years ago. And yeah, my mum had done knitting as a child. She wasn't like an avid knitter, but she knew how to do it, so she followed the instructions in the book with me and taught me how to do it, and it just became this cornerstone of my life that I became a knitter, and then I tried crochet and I became a crocheter and everything, and This is what happens when you live near a hospital. You're doing good work, but could you do it a bit more quietly? Thank you. Yeah, and I guess back then, I don't know if I developed this kind of hyper-obsessive personality. So I just kind of plugged away at it, and occasionally I'd not do it for a while, and then I'd pick it back up, and I feel like I was just a lot more well-adjusted when I was a kid. So I was able to like keep it going as a nice proper hobby rather than just doing it to death for 3 weeks and then getting bored of it, which is really great because it means that I've got this thing that I've had for a very long time that I can just do like kind of absent-mindedly and just bring myself back to the here and now. You know, it's productive, I'm making something, I'm doing something with my hands, it's enjoyable, and it's also not the thing that I'm obsessing over. I'm not going to tell you what I'm obsessing over because it'd probably be incredibly embarrassing to admit to a ton of people. The people who know me in person will know exactly what it is. I don't really have like a big goal with this conversation that I wanted to have. I just kind of wanted to knit a frog and inanely chat, and I basically had this kind of vague idea of explaining it's not a personality disorder, I don't think, my particular brand of personality quirk to you guys and just see if I am the only one or if anyone else is like this. And is it something to do with my personality, or is it because loads of craftspeople nowadays are conditioned to believe that we need to monetize our craft and make it into a business as soon as we can, and we have this whole kind of like, you have to do what you love, you can't do any other career and do something on the side, you have to do what you love full time. And so you're like, Jesus Christ, I better find something that I love that I can do, that I can turn into a business. Or is it just a human thing? Is it something that everyone does but nobody talks about? I don't know if I really have much more to say, to be honest. I haven't gotten very far with my frog, but I haven't made no progress. I guess to wrap this round to what the video was originally about, if you have that obsessive, hyperfixated personality type thing, from personal experience, it's good to do something with your hands. Some kind of craft, look up an origami tutorial, do something with your hands, because I find when the hands are busy doing something that requires you to pay attention, the brain just calms down a little bit. So do something with your hands, or just engage in some other hobby that is different to the obsessive thingy. Don't worry, that thing will still be there when you come back, okay? It's not going anywhere. So you can go away, do something else and come back to it. You can even do like Pomodoro technique, like do 10 minutes of one thing and then a 10-minute break, and then 20 minutes of the other thing and then a 10-minute break, and like flip it out if it's that bad. And just take some time away, try and be a bit self-aware and realize in your head when it is just this like crazy obsessive loop you're getting in. Because if it's something that you're wanting to pursue long term, you may want to pace yourself so you don't get burnt out. And I know that's tough. It's tough to pace yourself because you just want to do all of it at once. But it's worth it, because if you can take something, a hobby, a skill, an interest, and just give it the occasional time and energy and love it needs to sort of just gently bloom and flower throughout the rest of your life, it's going to be a lot more rewarding and satisfying, and I think it's going to contribute a lot better to your mental health than doing as many times as you can in a period of 2 weeks and just going insane. So, you know, if you're experiencing any of these kind of feelings, take a deep breath. Make sure to let it out, don't just hold it in forever. And just try something else, just for 5 minutes. Also know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with being really passionate about something, and as long as you are not neglecting taking care of yourself, I think a little bit of an obsession every now and then is kind of healthy and gives you a little bit of an exciting kick into your life every now and then. So, you know, manage it if it's a problem, but if it's not, see where it goes. You never know, it might give you the drive to do something extraordinary. Anywho, I'm going to wrap it up because otherwise I will just stay here all afternoon chatting to you, and as much as I would love to do that, editing me will not like that, so I'm going to wrap it up now. This may be a short and sweet video, or this may be a lot more rambly than I realised. Probably the latter. I will see you next time, when maybe I will have thought of an outro, probably not. We shall see. In the meantime, have a lovely week, few days, couple of weeks, whatever it is, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Oh my god, it's so warm. Oh, maybe I should make a fan. Whip up a quick nostalgic fan here so that I don't die. We used to make these all the time in primary school when I was a kid. Okay. Just do like a frantic fan every so often. Look, can everyone just calm the fuck down, please? I'm trying to record. Can everyone just be quiet? I swear to God. Wrong note. Bollocks. What What row am I on? Shit.